Hello, today we are talking about what to do when you cannot pay your mortgage or rent. I am Tara, this is Mike. I'm the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook where you can eat better, spend less. Go to livingonadime.com to grab your copy today because this is one of the ways that we were always able to pay our mortgage.
Yep.
So, we have had this situation a couple of times ourselves. We had a couple of family emergencies where we had to leave town, couldn't pay our mortgage. And so what do? We have never been in a situation where we weren't able to not have the money to pay our mortgage because we were frugal in so many areas that we always made sure, number one, no matter what else, nothing else got paid until the mortgage was paid.
House is more important than even power.
Yep, yeah. Shelter is more important than anything, than transportation, than credit cards, than food. Shelter is the most important. So, what do if you're in a situation where you can't pay your mortgage or rent? The first thing you do, call your landlord or call your mortgage company. They want to know that you are interested in actually trying to work with them. It costs the landlord and it costs the mortgage company a lot of money to get someone else to rent your place or to get someone else to buy your place. They don't want to foreclose on your house.
It also costs a lot for them to bring the hammer down on you to try to get you to pay when you're not paying.
Yeah. So their objective is to keep you in the house, but don't be ashamed or afraid to call them because 9.9 times out of 10, they will work with you, especially if you've been really good about paying your mortgage or rent beforehand. Now, what do you do when you just don't have the money? All right, there's several things that you can do. We have sold off things to get the money. You can get a second temporary job to get the money. You can talk to them and just ask for an extension. A lot of times they will. Right now we're in pandemic 2020 and everybody's getting laid off. Well, a lot of mortgage companies are willing to work with you right now, but this is the big but. They expect their money. They're not just giving you a get out of jail free card for this. And Mike was saying the other day, he said, people have to realize they are going to pay that on the other side.
So basically you're borrowing it now in order that when your crisis is over, you're going to pay it back. So you need to think of that as this isn't free. This is a slight reprieve until the crisis is over. So don't go crazy spending money on other things. In fact, since this is your house, if you really have the right attitude, you should cut all other spending to make this happen.
Yeah, you need to cut everything. And
like if you say, well, I really need this kind of food and not other food. No, you need food. And then the rest of the money should go to the house. If you're saying I really need to have something fancy or particular, or I'm on a specialized diet,
coffees,
those things are choices you're making, and they're not as urgent as you having a shelter.
Yep. Yeah, shelter is number one. So what exactly do you say to the mortgage company when you call them? So the time that I wasn't able to pay the mortgage because we had a heart attack in the family and had to leave the state to go see them, I called up and I said, hi, I said, this is Tara Kellum. I said, I am not able to pay my rent or my mortgage on time this month. I'm always good about paying my rent. Can you please give me an extension with no fees? Yep, they gave it to me just like that. Now, for us, because we have always paid on time, they thought nothing of it because we've always paid on time. So you need to be responsible and be paying on time all the time. If you are late every single month or you miss payments a lot, they're not going to be as lenient on you, and they're not going to be as willing to work with you for a very good reason, because you haven't proven to them that you're reliable.
Yeah, they hear from a lot of people, oh, I had an emergency this month. Oh, I had an emergency this month too. Oh, and last month I had one. That at that point they're going to stop working with you. So it's important that you keep a straight up relationship with them all along.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, just because Tara said, in our case, it was mostly we were unable to get the bill to them.
This was before
frame.
online.
We
paying.
had the money, and the online thing wasn't an option.
Yeah.
If you pay late and they authorize it, sometimes that means you'll be choosing to pay a late fee. And sometimes that's just the cost of saying, okay, it's going to give us a little breathing room for a little longer. But you want to cut all of your expenses as much as you can, because those late fees will continue to add up. And
if you normally pay your rent on time and you get a late fee, you can call the company and say, this is my first time, or this is my second time missing the rent. This is not a habit for me. Could you please remove the late fee? And I've had every single time, I've never paid a late fee on credit cards, house, mortgage. We've never paid a late fee because we called them and we talked to them and we said, this is the situation. They're like, oh yeah, we'll work with you.
And your attitude should be real positive about it, because this is your problem, not their problem.
Yeah, and if this is a continual problem for you, if you're always having a problem paying your mortgage or your rent, what do? You need to find a cheaper place to live. That may mean having to actually move to another state. We have actually picked up our family when we were making $800 a month on unemployment to move 4 states away so that we could afford where we were living and Mike have a job where we were living, because we couldn't get all of that together where we were at in Idaho. So we moved to Kansas. So you may have to pick up and move. You may have to pick up another job. I know that stinks to have to work 2 jobs, but you know what? You've got to get yourself up over this hump, and it may mean getting a second or a third job to help you get over that. Third, sell stuff. Start selling everything you can. I mean, I'm saying your cars. If you can't afford your car, sell your car. Get a cheaper car payment, but sell any and everything you can. Mike, he sold a Star Wars collection. I don't remember. We got like $1,000 or $1,500 from his Star Wars collection that he had one time. Do what you need to do to get yourself over this. And then in the future, you need to have $1,000 saved up. And then you need to work to $5,000 saved up. And then you need to work yourself up to 3 to 6 months. I know you're like, how in the world can I even do that? But work your way up, even $100, $500. That savings is what helps get you through these times when you're having a problem.
But it's also critical to realize, above all, you need to get your regular expenses below your regular costs.
Yep.
And most Americans especially want to have what we want. And so when you think, what do I need? I need a house. I need a house more than I need power. I need power more than I need cable. And if you're in a place where you're struggling, you need to really rethink things like cable. That's not a necessity, but many people think it is. Do you need a fancy phone plan? A lot of people have very specific food desires, like we're all organic, we're all non-GMO, whatever. And maybe that's your thing, and that's fine. But there's a certain point where you have to decide.
You can't afford it.
Do I think this is going to kill me?
Yep.
Like not living in a house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So those are so everything we have everything in life is a sacred cow to a lot of Americans, and you have to at some point make a decision which of those are you willing to let go of so that you're not constantly in distress. Yep.
So if you can't pay your mortgage or rent, get on the phone, call your landlord, call your lender, talk to them, be nice, because this is your problem. So they're working with you, and you can talk to them, and most times they are willing to work with you. We will see you guys next time.